Hello everyone! Welcome to Scrapped Steam Locos of Britain. Each week, we'll take a look at a class of locomotives that did not make it into preservation. All of these classes will be standard gauge and owned by either a pre-grouping railway company, one of the big four railway companies, and or British Railways. While some classes will get a new build member, most classes will be scrapped and likely remain scrapped. Here we go! Our next episode is on the Highland Railway Ben class. Before I begin this video, I would like to say that this is my first time trying to pronounce Scottish names. If I get them wrong, then I do apologize. Anyway, let's get on with the video. In 1896, Peter Drummond took over as locomotive superintendent of the Highland Railway from David Jones. Peter's older brother, Dugald, was currently designing locomotives for the London and South Western Railway, having previously worked on the Caledonian Railway. Back to the younger Drummond, Peter's first design for the Highland Railway was a 440 with inside cylinders. Until this point, most tender engines on the Highland Railway had their cylinders and valve gear on the outside. The first three members, numbers 1 to 3, were outshot from Dubbs & Company of Glasgow in July 1898. Classified as the C class, they had 6-foot driving wheels, a 175 pounds per square inch, 4-foot 6 1/4 inch boiler, and 18 1/4 by 26 inch cylinders. These resulted in 17,891 pounds of tractive effort. Like many Scottish locomotives, the class initially had wing plates attached to the front of the smoke box for decoration. Another common feature was the use of stiffeners to support the cab roof. Initially, number 1 was going to be named Ben Nevis, after the highest mountain peak in the British Isles. However, this name was changed to Beniglo because Ben Nevis was in the territory of the North British Railway, which was a rival to the Highland Railway. The next member, number 2, was named Ben Alder. She would later become famous for a reason I'll get to later on. The third member was named Ben Wyvies. From then on, all of the C's were named after Bens, which are Scottish mountain peaks. The next 5 members appeared in February 1899. This was followed by another batch of 9, numbered 9 to 17, which were built by the Highland Railway's own works at Locos between July 1899 and February 1901. The final 3 members were built by the North British Locomotive Company between April and July 1906. This was the successor to Dubbs. These 3 locos were numbered 38 Ben Udleman, number 41 Ben Bachard, and number 47 Ben Avert. This brought the class total to 20 locomotives. Many railway observers pointed out that the Highland Railway C's bore a strong resemblance to Dugald Drummond's T9 440s of 1899, as well as the Dunluce Stairs on the Caledonian Railway and the North British Railway's Abbotsford class. In 1908, the C's were joined by what was essentially a larger sibling. This was the U class. The U's had the same driving wheels as the C's, but had a larger boiler at 5 foot 3 inches in diameter. This was rated at 180 psi. However, the cylinders were only a 1/4 of an inch smaller than the C's, and the tractive effort was 17,901 pounds. In total, 6 members were built, all by the North British Locomotive Company. The first 4, numbers 61, 63, 66, and 68, were all built in May 1908. The final 2, numbers 60 Ben Brechmore and 62 Ben Acharoon, were built in May 1909. That same year, numbers 66 Ben Mulloch and 68 Benaket, were renumbered 64 and 65 respectively. Although both classes were different from one another, the C's and U's were both collectively known as the Ben class. The C class was given the nickname Small Bens, while the U class was given the nickname of Large Bens or Big Bens. For both classes, two types of tender were used: a 6-wheel tender and an 8-wheel watercart tender. The Highland Railway put the Bens to use on express trains and mail trains in the northernmost part of the railway. Lines which they called home included the Wick to Thurso line and the Kyle line. They also hauled trains over the Highland Main Line between Perth and Inverness. In later years, the boilers and cylinders of the small Bens were made interchangeable with the K-class 060s of 1900. All of the Bens survived into LMS days, with the C's being renumbered 14397 to 14416, and the U's being renumbered 14417 to 14422. Shortly after the groupings, the Bens were fitted with Caledonian Railway-style boilers. Like with many other Scottish locomotives, the Bens had their wing plates removed. Both the small and large Bens were classified as 2P by the LMS. This meant that they were downgraded to secondary passenger trains, branch line passenger trains, and local passenger trains. On occasions, the Bens were used as shunters and on lightweight goods trains. They were later replaced on secondary passenger trains by the Fowler 2P440s and the compounds. The first of the small Bens to go was number 14407 Ben Machdui in December 1931. The first of the large Bens to go was number 14421 Ben Brechmore in October 1932. Due to the small number of the class, withdrawals of the large Bens were rapid. The last of the large Bens to go was number 14422 Benacaroon in March 1937. As for the small Bens, 4 more had been withdrawn between December 1933 and December 1939. Withdrawals were paused because of World War II. However, one was withdrawn during that conflict. This was number 14405 Ben Rinnis in September 1944. Mass withdrawals restarted in 1946 with number 14400 Ben Moore going from Inverness that October. 3 more were withdrawn the following year, leaving only 10 to pass into BR ownership. The first BR withdrawal was number 14415 Ben Bachard from Inverness in May 1948. She was followed by numbers 14416 Ben Aveur in September and number 14401 Ben Vrocky in October, both locomotives also going from Inverness. 3 more were withdrawn in 1949, these being numbers 14397 Beniglo and 14403 Beneteau from Inverness in February, and number 14410 Benjerek from Forres in December. This left only 4 members to survive into 1950. However, only 3 received their BR numbers. These were numbers 54398 Ben Older, 54399 Ben Wyvis, and 54404 Ben Klebrick. The 4th member, number 14409 Ben Aliski, was withdrawn from Inverness in April 1950. These final 3 members were used on stopping passenger trains, shunting, and lightweight goods, and all 3 were allocated to Wick. They were later replaced by Caledonian 440s on stopping passenger trains. Ben Klebrick was the first of the Wick allocations to go, being withdrawn in October 1950. The next locomotive to go was Ben Wyvis in May 1952. However, Ben Alder held on until March 1953, when she was withdrawn as the last surviving Highland Railway tender engine in operation. After withdrawal, number 54398 was placed into dead storage, with plans for eventual preservation. The locomotive moved around various times to sheds such as Inverness, Boat of Garton, and Dosholm. It is commonly believed that no one stepped up to buy Ben Alder because she was not in original condition. After 14 years in storage, Ben Alder was towed to Motherwell Machinery and scrapped in May 1967. However, in June 2019, a project was launched to build a replica of Ben Alder in her original form as Highland Railway No. 2. At the time of writing, however, little work has been done due to the health of the families involved, the outbreak of COVID-19, and the recentness of the project. It is hoped that Ben Alder will run again by either 2035 or 2040 if all goes to plan. This series is inspired by Locomotives of Great Britain by Royal Air Land & Sea and Top 10 Extinct British Steam Locomotives by Pendennis Castle. Links to both their channels and the Ben Alder new build project are in the description below. As always, if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, then feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for a future episode, then let me know in the comment box below. I may take your suggestion. Tune in next week when I discuss the Southern Railway W class. Take care everyone, goodbye for now.